Hey friends, what's up? It is Points of Phillip here, but we also have a very special guest. And I'm really thrilled that Jordan is here from the Jordan Rules for Credit. And the reason why I'm excited that he's here is because he has just made probably the best redemption of a lifetime. And so I can't wait to hear exactly how that went. But thanks so much for being here, Jordan. You're awesome.
No, first of all, you're awesome, and second of all, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, and the opportunity I get to come on live, especially with someone like you that I'm a genuine fan of. It's still really cool for me. So it's all been a kind of a whirlwind, this whole YouTube stuff. Like,
Yeah.
just hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm getting invited to more live streams and things. It's kind of like a weird imposter syndrome almost, but I'm just very appreciative of any chance I get like this. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it is crazy once you start getting that thing where it's like, wow, like people are actually starting to watch, which is great. And yeah, being actually being to that point where now you have 1,000 subscribers, it really is incredible because you start, a lot of things start happening with YouTube. And I can see in your background, you already have a colored light in the background. So you're pretty much already professional at YouTube. So.
It's like the prerequisite to putting a video out on YouTube, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
And we
exactly.
got this blue. Look at that.
So just real quick before we get started, if you are not subscribed to Jordan's channel, go ahead and make sure you look in the description below. I just made sure I tagged you in the description of the video. I hadn't done that earlier, and so if you are, just make sure you click on that, subscribe to Jordan, because again, he's got some really solid stuff, and we're going to learn a lot of stuff today. So I'm going to take from Calvin at 850 Club Credit, and I hope you got your notebooks out because we're going to go to school.
It's a lot. I'll say that once we finally get into it.
Yeah.
No spoilers because we'll cover the details, but it's a lot. And I've got the Excel that I had to build it's out of control, but it was all worth it in the end.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We can get to that Excel in a little bit too, because I know you have something you want to mention about that. But just kind of walk us through what was going through your head when you were trying to plan out this recent really big redemption of yours. Like, what were your goals? What's the big thing you wanted to make sure happened for this trip?
I'd say two things. One, make my now wife understand why I've been obsessed over the last year, like prior to booking, because up until that point, there was no payoff. It was like, you're just like editing videos every night and like having me sign up for credit cards. Like, what is going on? That was number one, and getting her kind of on board and kind of getting her to see it, because me consuming all the content that I do on YouTube, or at that time I was really watching a lot of videos. You can kind of see what kind of the fruits of your labor can bring, like all the different resorts and places around the world that you can truly go. That was kind of goal number one. And then along with that as well, I was really in the mind frame. I took a lot of inspiration and listened quite a bit to Chad from Chad's Money Minutes. Use your miles, burn them all. I wasn't going to nitpick cent per point, and I wasn't going to worry about putting my point balances down to zero. I guess those were kind of the two main goals. Okay. And it was quite a bit of points. I've mentioned a few times it wouldn't have been possible, and just so grateful for things like her dad helping us out with actual wedding expenses, actually giving us the money to go out and pay those bills. That obviously in turn allows you to sign up for more credit cards and more sign up bonuses. Right. So there was a lot of kind of stars aligned things with the whole situation with our wedding expenses. But definitely having the wife on board, getting the help that we did. And finally now I think she really gets it. We got home and she's like, all right, what card do you want me to apply for? I'm like, yes.
That's amazing. I love that. All right. So mission accomplished then, basically.
Exactly. Mission accomplished. Yeah. It was like a full circle moment almost, kind of, when we were like getting ready to leave. I had hit 1,000 subscribers while I was packing my bag the night before the flight.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Knowing that we were leaving for it was just like, it was so cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. All right. So, so for your trip, you went through a lot of places. I'm kind of amazed at how many Ritz-Carltons you actually went to, because you kind of hit a lot of them, right? So I remember you talked when I was listening to your video talking about it, you mentioned that you went to the Ritz-Carlton and San Juan, which I was trying to figure out how to book myself when we were there for the creator meetup, but you actually pulled it off. So how did you make that happen?
having a ton of American Express membership rewards points.
Okay. Awesome.
Boy, brilliant welcome offer. I mean, that I don't mean to dumb it down to that level, but it's a huge point stay.
Mhm.
I kind of worked out the numbers. I forget what the final cent per point was on it. It's not the best value. I think we got applying some transfer bonuses, going from Amex MR points over to Bonvoy points, and kind of once you figure out
Okay.
the points that you were able to save by using transfer bonuses, it was like a 1.6 cent per point
Oh,
value.
nice.
Again, I
Okay.
wasn't going to get hung up on it, but at the same time, it's like feels good knowing I got more value for the Bonvoy points, but at the same time, it's less than 2 membership rewards points. So at the end of the day, I just kind of put that to the side. I wanted to calculate all that so that I could obviously talk about it on my channel and videos and things. But that was one where we had sort of started looking around January of 2025,
Wow.
kind of
Okay.
getting basically trying to align everything. We had a ton of expenses in March. So I had built out the credit card plan. Here's what we need to do. Here's what we need to hit. Here's how many points we already have. And here's how many we have left over. And it was
Nice.
just booking that far out in advance was, I think, I don't know. What about you when you looked for the creator meetup? Was it just there was no point redemptions available?
Well, so we had a kind of a weird situation in that we didn't actually realize we were going to go until kind of later. And so like I was waiting on a couple of Hilton redemptions and some sign up bonuses, things like that. So we actually ended up actually we basically had break it up. I actually broke it up into 3 different reservations. So one was for the first 2 nights, and then one each additional night, like as I got the points. And so pretty much like that was what I was looking at. But then like I just didn't have the Marriott points at that point to make like a multi-night stay happen. So we ended up staying at the Hilton Caribe. But yeah, it was just kind of like I didn't have, and I think honestly part of it too was I was a little leery of transitioning Amex to Marriott because that 1-to-1 it feels like it's scary. Why was it not
Agreed.
scary for you?
Taking, I guess it was, do I want to sit around and in my, from all the research I did, I guess, on that property specifically that we're talking about, that Dorado Beach Ritz-Carlton Reserve, if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely do so. It looks unbelievable. The marketing they have around it and all that on their own website is great. But then after watching some videos, like travel vloggers going there and kind of reviewing the property,
Yeah.
with it also being a Ritz-Carlton Reserve, I just knew that it would be the service that kind of we were looking for on our honeymoon. I mean, we wanted to be pampered and kind of catered to, and I knew that we would get that at the property. So I
Yeah.
was okay with it because what else was I going to use the points for? I could have gotten a better cent point value. We could have stayed at a 4-star resort, but at the end of the day, it was just it had looked like that special of a place to where it was going to be worth burning all those points. Not the best use for Amex, but knowing that we also had some expenses even later on in the year, once we were going to make the booking, then it was like, all right, well, we can still hit some more welcome offers. We can kind of start to replenish the balance. That also
Yeah.
helped. I say helped as well, knowing that we're going to spend thousands of more dollars later on in the year with a wedding and all the expenses that come along with that. I chose to look at that as kind of a positive with this whole thing as well. Of we're going to have more expenses, so let's use that to our advantage as best we can, I guess.
Right. Absolutely, yeah. And that's one of the things that kind of changed how I you know, thought about large expenses, especially ones that you're planning for, ones that you probably are already saving up for and going to make regardless, right? Like tax season is always a really good time to kind of execute a sign-up bonus. At least with American Express, they've always kind of given me the bonus. But and then just adopting, I was able to hit 2 business platinum sign-up bonuses just on adoption fees alone. So that was something.
Yeah, congrats again, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're still waiting to hear. So hopefully it'll happen tomorrow. That's the new rule. But that's awesome. Great. So how many different hotels did you stay at on this redemption that you made?
Yes, we stayed at 3 different properties. So we traveled from Boston. We flew out of Boston.
Okay.
There's a direct flight option into St. Thomas. And what we've done in the past, Long story short, my wife with her mom and her family have been to the island of St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands. They used to go all the time. It was like their own tradition. Obviously,
cool.
once I, made it into the family officially and all that, or once they kind of knew that we were eventually going to get married, they started inviting me, which I was very grateful for. What they typically had done, though, was stay at Airbnbs. And especially if you're going around peak times, that's a lot of money you need to fork over. We've also done that on our own dime. We've gone on kind of some off-peak months. We went actually in the summer of 2024 for her 30th birthday, which was like, it was hell. It was like 95 degrees. We would get to the beach at 8 a.m. We'd have to leave by noon. It was too hot to sit in the sun.
Oh, wow.
So the only kind of way that we would obviously be able to do it with points was kind of foregoing the Airbnbs this time. Let's try out some different properties. So we opted to stay at the St. Thomas Ritz-Carlton. I don't know if have you heard anything about that hotel in particular?
I haven't.
It was not the best in my opinion.
Really?
It's not even
okay.
Some people love it. In my opinion, it's just not a Ritz-Carlton. I'm not going to claim to have be a world traveler and stay at all these 5-star resorts, but the way the grounds are maintained or the lack thereof, the lack of service and attentiveness, it just wasn't Ritz-Carlton service.
Wow.
So I say all that because we had already planned on, because we weren't staying on St. John in one of the Airbnbs, kind of like what we like to do. We like to rent a Jeep and you can drive to the different beaches every day. It's a lot of fun to kind of do the trip that way.
Wow.
Because we weren't doing that, we had already planned on taking the ferry boat in the morning over to St. John. We did a 3-night stay on St. Thomas. We had already planned the 2 full days. We were just going to go to St. John because we love that island and kind of prefer the experience over there anyway.
Nice.
So the stay at the St. Thomas Ritz-Carlton, I would not recommend it to anyone else out there.
Good to know.
And if you do like it, then good for you. It is, I will say, the only maybe positive about that property, you can typically find, for the most part, from my research around it, you can typically find point redemption stays there pretty much no problem at just about any point during the year. Even you don't really need to book that far out in advance. So
which kind of is a red flag in and of itself.
Exactly. And just from kind of chatting to some people, it's one of those properties that it's built for point redemptions. Like just about everyone we talk to is like, yeah, we booked with points. We booked with points. They kind of lure you into booking with points. We also got suckered into paying for a club level upgrade or whatever to get into the club lounge.
Yeah.
Seemed like a great idea at the time. Free breakfast and whatever, but it was just, yeah. So they kind of structure it that way, in my opinion, where very affordable point redemptions and very good availability, but there's only a cash upgrade option to the better rooms and only a cash upgrade option to the club level and things like that. So that was not the best stay, but that was the first one we stayed at. And then I can keep going. I got 2 more to go through too, or we can break there and break that one down a little bit more if you want.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes,
wherever you want to go.
All right. Well, I don't want to relive that one too much, so why don't we move on?
Yeah, sure.
Now, the next one it's called Lavongo Resort and Beach Club. So it's a small sister island off of St. John, and there's ferry boats from both St. Thomas and St. John to get to this. It's truly its own private island.
Nice.
There's long story short, the owner owns 2 different hotels, one on Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. I've looked them up, haven't stayed there. They look very nice. If I had to guess, the owner probably has quite a bit of money. I think the backstory was going back to the hurricanes. It had essentially devastated the one key. It was a 5-star resort on St. John. This place got absolutely decimated. There was a partnership between the National Park Service and the Rockefeller family who had previously owned it. There was this weird political change of hands things that was going to happen with the ownership. So basically it hasn't been rebuilt. No one wants to build on it and spend the money if the National Park Service is just going to claim it for themselves because it's national park territory. It's a really weird thing. But there was an opportunity to basically build a St. John property that was going to bring in, a lot more visibility to the island itself and kind of help the economy of the overall island. But they really kind of needed a 5-star resort. There is a Westin, but they needed that premier luxury destination. So they had actually partnered with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Now, when I
Oh,
had
wow.
first got into credit cards in 2024, I believe was when the Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Hyatt partnership was announced,
Mm.
and they moved away from. It ended up with Hilton. What's the other one called? Is it SLH or something?
Yes, SLH, small luxury hotels. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was everyone was all up in arms for my research on that and watching some videos on that. Everyone really hated that change. But anyway, this Lavongo Resort is on Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I was
Okay.
literally, we had saved the cash. We had been there on our previous Airbnb stays on St. John. They let you rent a pool cabana, come for like a day experience to kind of let you see the island. It's a new place in the USVI. So they kind of want to lure you in and let you see the new island, see how great of a resort it actually is. And we had the cash saved up. I was literally looking up pictures in like December or January. I call it January 2025. And there was a link to the Hyatt website. And I was like, what the hell? No way. It's on Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And I was like, all right, we need some chase cards. Let's go on. So it's kind of the same mentality, though, as like the Dorado Beach Ritz-Carlton. Like, it's not the best Semper Point value. That's everyone's big gripe with the whole Mr. and Mrs. Smith booking with your Hyatt points. You can get way better Hyatt redemptions. But it's kind of the same theme of like, this place looks so cool. We've been to the pool cabana, the service level that you get there. It's like you can feel like it's family owned too, which is so cool. Very sustainable property as well. Really pushing to actually a net zero carbon footprint, doing all the right things.
Yeah.
So same mentality of like, let's just get as many chase points as we can. We should have enough. I laid out my plan. Like, I need you to sign up for the Sapphire Preferred in March and do all these things. Let's just do it. Why not? When else are we going to, especially now, thankfully we did, because it's so hard to earn chase points now.
That's true.
I'm so glad that you can look at it both ways. Like, well, you probably should have saved them now because it's actually harder to earn them. But I'm like, we would never be able to earn this many moving forward now with all the new rules in place. So I chose to look at it that way, or, thinking back to it, that's kind of how I view it now. So we just burned the miles. It was another 3-night stay. We took a ferry boat. We checked out of the Ritz-Carlton St. Thomas. Thank God. Got the hell out of there. Took their, they have a little private ferry. They bring you over to the island, take your luggage, hands off. You don't have to do a thing. They take you in a golf cart over to your room. Your luggage is already there. We stayed in like a luxury tree house. I showed this a little bit to Joe on my last live in December, actually. It's so cool. Just the way that they have sort of laid out this island. There's glamping tents, tree houses, which do have air conditioning, which is why we didn't stay in the glamping tent. And they actually have villas too. So it's really cool. Really personalized service. Like I said, family owned feel. And that stay was one where it was like, this sucks that we have to leave. St. Thomas Ritz, get me out of here. Can't wait to go check out Lavongo. But when we had to leave Lavongo, it was genuinely depressing because neither of us had actually been to Puerto Rico, which is going to be our next stop. And so
there you go.
She wasn't fully convinced. Like, it looks nice online, but the Ritz-Carlton St. Thomas, some of the pictures and stuff, they make it look nice online. Is this going to be a repeat of what we just experienced? We were kind of like in a weird headspace going into Puerto Rico, but that property was. So anyway, we took the ferry off of Lavongo, their own private ferry. They brought us back to St. Thomas. I had booked through Chase Travel Portal, got a car to the airport, and then we had it was like a 20-minute flight from the island of St. Thomas over to Puerto Rico. For whatever reason, something happened with the hurricane. They used to have a ferry boat that would just run, I think, twice per day. But for whatever reason, that just hasn't opened back up since the hurricane kind of devastated everything down there. They've done a good job kind of rebuilding all the islands there, but they're still feeling the effects of that.
Sure. Wow, that is quite that's quite the experience so far. And it's surprising that there's such a variation between Ritz-Carlton properties. Like, you would assume that one of the Highline brands, especially if it's a brand that's like supposed to be for these point redemptions, you'd think that they would care how people thought about it. That's really surprising to me.
You would think. Well, it's kind of how we got duped is like, it depends where you go to read the reviews, right? Like,
that's
some of the sites are curated, and that must have been, I don't know for sure, but that must have been what I was looking at the time. Like, some of them make it sound great.
Yeah.
Do the club level upgrade. You're going to absolutely love it. You get your own little section on a private beach. It's like it depends where you go to read the reviews.
Yeah.
So I had found some good reviews. everything sounds great, looks great, pictures online. You can make pictures and kind of frame things up however the heck you want.
Absolutely.
You hire the right person, they can put lipstick on a pig. So yeah, that we had kind of gotten duped in a sense with that. But obviously looking back on it, hindsight's 2020, going to some other sites and reading some other reviews, it's there's some people pointing out exactly what we experienced. Like, this is not the main thing, and kind of our running joke was like, this is not a Ritz-Carlton. It's not. It's just simply not. So there was quite a bit that happened. We've got not an open dispute, but trying to rake some of those points back, given our negative experience. We got dropped off at the front, and no one said hello.
Whoa!
There was 3 people like standing at the little baggage stand, and no one said hello. We didn't know where the check-in desk was. No one said go right around the corner. You're gonna go check in over there. Like, it was, and just from then on, it was a disaster.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we have ignored our comment section quite a bit so far, just because I want to make sure we have a lot of information for those of you that are watching the rewatch. But I do want to make sure that we take a minute to just take a look at some of these comments. First of all, have to thank QC Man for the super sticker, $2. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I need to get one of those sledge like sounds or something to play. When that happens, because QC Man has been a long time supporter of the channel. So thank you once again. All right, so Brandon is saying happy Saturday. Love seeing this collab. Yeah, and I'm so glad that you're able to actually come on, because I've been looking forward to this conversation for quite some time.
Likewise.
Juan is saying good afternoon. Thanks so much for being here, Juan. Raul, hello, Phillip and Jordan. Kirby, I don't know if that's true. I booked a Hampton Inn last week. Oh, probably saying the best point redemption. Some of those Hampton Inns are not bad, I will say, but I don't know. Maybe not Ritz-Carlton level. We'll see. Juan Garcia, of course, we're still kind of in that, was it 3 degrees of Bilt at this point? Are either one of us getting the Bilt Palladium? Do you want to share your answer to that?
I am, yes. So, nice. Spoiler alert, video coming out this week. Check it out, blah, blah, blah. I did apply for the Palladium. And this is, I had talked to, mainly I was talking to a lot of people, but Spencer Johnson quite a bit, and we were going back and forth. We're kind of doing a very similar video series. Kind of the main thesis is around like Bilt Cash. I knew I wanted to go for it. I'm not willing to give up, even if it is minimal now with the new structure, points on my rent. I'm not willing to give that up. Bilt Palladium's expensive. I can claw back most of that value. It's an expensive card, and that's probably the scariest part if I can say that. But I ended up applying for the Palladium, but before I wanted to do that, I wanted to figure out what Bilt Cash versus the tiered system, what makes sense, at what levels, who does it make sense for? Should I be using my Bilt Cash to do the point accelerator? Should I put it towards rent? The Excel that I had to build is out of control. Like, I do everything in Excel. I've referenced it a couple of times now. I consider myself pretty good with Excel. I had to do manual entry. I'm going to spend this much on catch-all this month. Then here's my rent spend. How much Bilt Cash will that get me? Okay, next month. I had to like input them one at a time. There was no automated way for me to, like in my brain, there was no way for me to even figure it out. I worked through different scenarios. Okay, so here's what I spend on my Freedom Unlimited is my catch-all, or we spend, I should say, because she uses it as well. Now that we have the combined spend, it helps a little bit. Let me take this number. Let me plug it into the tiered system. What would this net me versus opting for Bilt Cash? Now with Bilt Cash, again, should I do the point accelerator to make it a 3x catch-all? Should I use the Bilt Cash to do rent? It was a nightmare. And then I was like, okay, so maybe if I increase my spending, then let me run those scenarios again. It took me hours and hours. It's actually what I was doing when you went on Anthony Ventures Live, and we got that awesome little pop-up from Daniel Sparks, which if you guys haven't seen that one, that's worth going and checking out the VOD for. I wonder if that steak is cooked yet. But yeah, that's what I was doing. And you guys were on for what, 2.5 hours? I was doing that the entire time, plugging in one by one for the different scenarios, what my spend would be that month, how much Bilt Cash would that give me. It's a nightmare. The video coming out, it's like, this sucks. It makes sense. pretty much for the most part, I'd say for 95% of people, I'm comfortable saying opt for Bilt Cash, which is kind of why I wanted to input all the numbers in the first place. Like, okay, so I think I'm definitely going to apply. I'm not willing to give up rent points. Like, now, which of these options is best, and how do I figure it out? And have you seen richwithpoints.com?
Yes.
You know Rich at all?
Yeah.
How
he's a great guy.
Automated that is like mind blowing to me.
Yeah, because he did it pretty quickly too, I believe.
Yeah, he had it up and running. The FAQ page dropped, and then he changed the calculator within like 48 hours to.
Yeah,
it's pretty close, but it's not a knock on his tool, but it was like, it does make sense in his tool for the same scenarios that I was running to opt for Bilt Cash. But I was like, okay, so now, but there's also another layer to that, right? How do I use the Bilt Cash? And that's what I wanted to figure out and what the best option would be.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I kind of made a little bit of waves in that video because I said essentially basically that the Bilt cards were kind of providing almost a better evolution of the coupon book style in an interesting way. And it's because with the Bilt Cash, it's basically like you can make it, you even if it's the Palladium or the Obsidian card, you can make it like as close to the Amex Gold card as you want, or you can make it as close to as the Platinum card ish, because you can make it, you can do the Bilt dining redemptions for Bilt Cash. You can do, the Grubhub thing, all sorts of fun things like that with your Bilt Cash, or you can do the travel thing with it, right? You could do, the Bilt Hotel Portal redemption and things like that. So there is kind of a choose your own adventure there that's interesting to me, but it is insanely complicated. And I'm so glad that you went through the numbers to see like, okay, which one is actually objectionably better.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, the problem for me and kind of why I needed to put it on all the time was our rent is so high living near a major city. If anyone else lives near me, like, you're not, I'm going to struggle to spend 50% of our rent. Right. That's looking at us combined catch-all spending. We're going to struggle to even spend 50%. So how do I work this out? Now, if you're someone with, I think Luke's Points and Miles was talking about, he's got 2 mortgages, $1,000 total. Yeah. He's going to make out like a freaking bandit. I mean, he basically use Bilt Cash. I believe, again, 95% of people should be opting for Bilt Cash unless your spend is so low compared to your rent. Right. He's going to just apply as many maximize his rent earnings, use as much Bilt Cash for the 3x point accelerator after that. Once he caps that out, then redeem your Bilt Cash for some of the different redemption methods that you mentioned. So those type of people, they're going to make out crazy on this new structure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And to be perfectly honest, I applied for the Palladium card, was denied for it. But so there's been an interesting thing going on around Reddit where it was said that basically they were misreporting people's income to the issuing bank. So if you say you put 10,000 or 100,000 in a year, it would report 10,000. And so basically a lot of people like Anthony even said that like it would tell them like your income is too low for your obligations. And like, that's basically why. So they automatically just denied a lot of people based on some bad information. Wow. And then they're not really doing much about it. You have to go through, like I was actually, Anthony found some corporate bigwig at Cardless and Bilt's email address and gave them to me. And I was able to actually put in a single request via email. So there's an executive team that's looking into the matter for me. But it's just crazy, like for that to be that huge of an issue. And for them to still be sticking by it, which is crazy. And the fact that they just recently actually expanded their deadline for making that decision to choose the Bilt card, because apparently not, I don't know if people are choosing the Bilt card, which is wild.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another layer to this too that I didn't even mention is kind of how I got lured into the Palladium as well. Well, with high rent like I have, I'll never be able to put enough dining and grocery spend on the card. So the Obsidian's out, right? Like there's just no way I can plus up my grocery spending. What am I going to do? Like buy more non-perishable things every month and be a hoarder? or like a doomsday
There you
prepper. I'm
go.
not going that route. So
Buy
I'm
everything at
kind
the
of locked
bodega.
into the Palladium, and then it's like, oh, by the way, with the sub, you're going to get gold status. So my Rakuten transfer sticks at the 1-to-1 rate. So I do think they kind of did a good job of pushing people towards the Palladium.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I think it was Spencer that was telling me, they at the event, they actually Anchor went around and asking everybody like, which card are you going to apply for, and every single person said the Palladium, and I think that's kind of where this incentive structure is lining up. Which really is interesting. Like, it is the most interesting card, but if Bilt Cash turns out to be worthless, it's the one that suffers the most, I would think.
I would agree.
Because it's like, that's the whole value. Sorry.
And it's a balancing act, right? So if you are someone like I keep using Luke, like if you have really low rent or mortgage, you can spend plenty, well, even over 100%. The 1.25x that you could get with option, whatever you want to call it, with the housing only structure, you can do that, but then you're also leaving Bilt Cash on the table. If you can basically hit at least 100% with just your dining or groceries, then you don't need the 495. And I think that's where it opens the door for other people. Whereas I need to unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to move some spend off of my Wells Fargo Attune card to try and just plus up my catch-all spending a little bit more. I love earning 4% cash back on some of its categories.
Right.
But then it's a trade-off, right? Like, I could use more Bilt Cash to be able to activate that point accelerator more frequently. There's just so many moving parts, and the credit card game in general is very personalized and customized to your own situation, your spending and all that. But I feel like Bilt's 2.0 almost exaggerates that even further. It's so specific. And like I said, the best way I came up with, I just texted to you just a summary page of my Bilt 2.0, figure out what the hell to do. It's insane. I mean,
is that clear to throw on the screen or
absolutely? No? Yeah.
All right. Let's look at it.
I'll let you guys make sense of that. It's unbelievable.
It is wild. So yeah, so the amount of kind of granular data you have to go into is kind of crazy. We definitely aren't going to read through it because this is not the spreadsheet hour. But we
don't have 4 hours, Phillip. We don't have the time.
Right. But I will say, this looks very professional. So good job. I would give you a raise.
I appreciate it. It's honestly it's going to be difficult to make the video I recorded kind of laying this out digestible because there's just so much to it. I'm going to try and just sort of cut it down to the general, kind of summary or key takeaways that I mentioned before of like, if you're spending it this much, here's kind of all you need to know. If you're spending this much, basically at any level, opt for Bilt Cash. Other than that, here's kind of what you should do, opting for point accelerator at this level versus pushing it all towards rent. And there's, kind of the best way to earn the most amount of points in those different scenarios. And I think kind of how it equates to everyone is the percent spend to your rent. And that's kind of how I try and put it in those terms.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now, you kind of touched on one topic, and I want to kind of dig deep into that before we kind of explore some of these other comments and questions. You mentioned that you were going to have to stop spending on other cards, like your Wells Fargo Attune card, which, 4x back on Amazon is kind of intense. Having to switch to from that card to this Bilt Palladium card, it seems like it's possible that there's a lot of credit cards that are actually going to suffer if the Bilt cards are actually widely adopted. Who do you think is the biggest loser if Bilt actually takes off?
Ooh, very good question. The biggest loser? Oh, I'd say the 3% earning cards, the CSPs.
Okay.
Maybe potentially even the Saver as well. Granted, that one is a no annual fee. I think it's going to be the CSPs. If you have low rent, you can just opt for Obsidian, kind of make out like a bandit, earn a ton of points. You don't need, this point too, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is what, 3x streaming, 3x dining. I don't put much stock in online grocery. Maybe some people do. And then also with the City Strata Premier, if you can really maximize the Bilt Palladium card, it can earn you the max amount of rent points and be a 3x catch-all card if you have the spend to do so. Right. For me, not being in that situation, I don't need to get rid of my Chase Sapphire Preferred. I could maybe move the streaming spend over to it. It's just, It's all going to depend, but I truly do think that it's going to be kind of those $95 like 3% card or 3x earning cards that could suffer the most, because whether you opt for Obsidian and go 3x dining or grocery, or with the Bilt Palladium, that could potentially be a 3x earning card, and then you just wipe out all the other cards that you were already earning that elevated multiplier on. Now it almost kind of diminishes those elevated multipliers on those type of cards.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a really great way to think about it. Yeah, if you have, the City Strata Premier, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Saver card, then yeah, that can really, really not do this well. Because if it is possible to earn, 3x back on everything up until that rent spend, then, and that's not even counting the point accelerator too.
Yep.
If you do that, that could be 4x per dollar, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm guilty of it already. Like trying to, in a smart way, put more spend on the Palladium is kind of my plan. We can product change my wife's Chase Sapphire Preferred. We don't need the 3x on streaming. That's all the cards getting used for at this point. We have the MX Gold for dining and grocery. The Chase Sapphire Preferred is just kind of fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we're going to go ahead and try to get through a lot of these comments. Just say hello to some people. Let's see here. Where am I? Oh, yeah. So Boxer is here. Thanks so much. Or at least he was here. Hopefully he's still here. Just getting to know Jordan. Thanks so much for being here. Vincent is also here. Great to see that. QC Man hitting me on that mission accomplished. That's awesome. So QC Man actually, so I did throw this up while you were talking about the Ritz-Carlton experience. I'm guessing that would be your answer for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By far. Easy answer.
Right. Yeah. And Calder's hopefully tomorrow or Monday. So there's been some sort of delay on that, but everything's still going well. So hopefully we're going to be picking him up soon. But Mike Newland is also here. Mike Newland, longtime friend of the channel. Chad's Money Minutes is also here. Thanks so much for being here, Chad. I might have to order a shirt as well. Thanks for letting me know, Mike. Let's see. Kirby saying I was in St. Thomas last May. Absolutely beautiful. That does sound really great. I might have to go there.
The islands are beautiful. I will say that they really are. It's a really cool place to travel, and it's U.S. territory. It's just so easy to get to.
Yeah, that's amazing. John's credit and travel is also here. He's got a great channel as well. Let's see. Yes. It's so easy to give a simple wave or say hi. Oh yeah, exactly. Like that, it blows my mind because like that's the thing that you expect when you go to a Highline hotel like that. It's like I want to be treated like a decent human being.
Say hello. Like what?
Right. Yeah.
No one was like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" Like what is going on? Like, this isn't just like at Ritz-Carlton's. They just show up to a hotel and they say hi. Like what the heck?
Right. Exactly. QC Man asked if it was a residence in disguise as a Ritz.
Yeah, that's very fair.
That's amazing. Oh, QC Man, you're doing amazing. Let's see here. Philmo, Bilt math is easy. Stay away from Bilt equals happy life. There you go.
Fair point.
Philmo, have you dug out from your like 75 inches of snow that you just got recently? Hopefully you're okay. I mean, I guess you're doing okay because you're talking on here, so that's good. Let's see. Oh, Kirby was on the live too. He said, Rich is crazy with his website. Love it. Yeah. We've actually used it for a couple of videos so far, which is really awesome. Let's see. We're talking about the rent being too damn high. Yeah, that is crazy. Let's see. I was actually talking with Kirby, and we discovered that his rent was about the same as price as my mortgage, and I have a 3-bedroom house. So,
wow.
Yeah,
he's in California. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah,
somewhere in
Sorry,
Orange
I didn't
County.
shout you out earlier, Kirby. Yeah, you were on that live as well. It was a ton of fun to just even be in the chat. Yeah. That was great.
Right? Yeah, that's amazing. Let's see here. We got a couple other people saying hi. Kirby's saying, my plan is to book hotels for my parents, have them pay me back to completely liquidate the $400 credit. There you go. That's awesome. Or you could expense it and then get reimbursed and then, do that.
True.
There you go. Happy Thomas here. Thanks so much for being here. Good afternoon to you as well. Stinky Monkey Baby is also becoming quite prolific in the credit card space as well. Afternoon here to support all credit card shenanigans. Well, I guess we're going to have to do some shenanigans now. So,
100%.
yeah. Okay, Source King has an interesting point. So, Bilt Cash being sold as a more flexible coupon is next level pissing on your leg, telling you it's raining. All right. So Source King disagrees with my former statement, but that's great. We can definitely do that. So, and that's to be fair, right? So is it a crappy system? Absolutely. Is there a way to find a way to actually make it work for you? I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a tipping point though, where there's so many limitations on it that for someone who can just has super low rent, is going to spend a ton, has all this excess bill cash, like you might get to a point where it's like, I can't even redeem more than $10 on DoorDash this month. Like, what am I supposed to do with all this? I can't roll over more than $100. So that's a good point. Like, there's probably a tipping point where like you have too much bill cash, which is really weird to say.
Well, that's where you just rent out a Blade helicopter and just ride around the island for a little bit.
You know what? You're right. Private helicopter ride, and you burn through
the thing that sucks about it, because I actually looked into it, because my wife and I, we were looking into transfers from JFK into the city, because we were staying at the Park Hyatt in New York, and I was like, this is our anniversary trip. I want to make this a big deal. And so I looked into it, and the thing that sucks is, first of all, my weight would be an issue at that point. But then also, the fact that if you have checked bags, like baggage that's checked bag size, you have to pay separately for someone to drive the bags to where you're going.
Really?
Yeah. So it definitely wouldn't have saved more at all. It definitely it would have taken 10 minutes instead of an hour, but then I still wouldn't be at the hotel. So, crazy. But yeah, it's still cool. Like, being able to say you hired a helicopter.
Yeah. Just do it for the flex.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah. So they're asking about John's live. How far outside of Boston are you with that rent, Jordan? 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom? Considering a move to Boston and just curious.
We're just north of the city. 1 bedroom. We might have been only the second people in this unit when we had moved in. So it's a relatively new building.
Oh, wow.
1 bedroom, nice. A decent amount of square footage. A lot of, new stainless steel appliances and things. Very new construction, but we pay $31.67 is what it's going up to next year.
That's incredible. Wow. So I don't think I realized that you were in Boston. We used to work as a communications director for a Senate campaign up in Massachusetts, and we spent a lot of time in Back Bay. That part of Boston I was kind of more familiar with.
I can't afford Back Bay.
Yeah.
Those places.
Yeah. The candidate I worked for, she had a house outside of the city and then an apartment in that area. And I was like, man, it must be nice.
Yeah. I need about 6 million more subscribers, then I'll move to Back Bay.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man. That's awesome. Okay. So BPBL is saying, I was denied the Palladium too and wrote to Dan at Bilt. They offered me the Obsidian. I would be okay if they offered me this Obsidian, honestly. Wrote back for the Palladium again, but I decided I no longer want it. Yeah. It's there's definitely a lot of boo-boos that they're having to kind of correct on the fly here, which feels like it's not the best for what's supposed to be a pretty strong financial company.
Yeah, which is a shame, because if they just rolled it out the right way with a true dedicated marketing team, this would not... It wouldn't be received the way it's being received right now, which is pretty unfortunate from their perspective anyway.
Yeah, 100%. So objectively, like the Platinum card, it's easier to get value for most people than the Chase Sapphire Reserve. But Amex's marketing team is really on top of it as far as like timing the leaks and just all of this stuff. Like they're pros at it. And I guess that's what happens when you become a, multi-billion-dollar corporation, but
that helps.
Yeah. But yeah, great point though. I feel like based on just trolling on Reddit every once in a while, I feel like a lot of people are in that boat where they're just not joining the Bilt 2.0 train.
Yeah. Which is so unfortunate. I mean, I say that too, like this day and age, it's not that hard to hire a proper marketing team. I mean, you
It's
can
not.
do it pretty cost effectively. I mean, it's not, you don't need the Amex $1 billion piggy bank to make that happen. Be
Yeah.
transparent, do it the right way, get people excited. Then we can get over how complex it is and all the limitations on Bilt cash and stuff. It would have just been a different world if they did it the right way, or just did it even a little bit better for them. Having said that, just
Exactly.
a touch bit better, like just be a little better than you were, and it would be a different vibe out there right now.
Yeah. And Anchor or Richard, if you're watching this, my wife happens to run her own ad agency. So if you're interested in expanding your communications outreach, let me know. Anyway, just had to do that. But yeah, the opportunity costs are way too high. Yeah, exactly. Stinky monkey. There's another monkey. Monkey Deluffy. All right. Bilt is silly. Wait 3 to 4 months and until they will offer a bigger bonus. You know, it could do that, or they could just make it go away.
Yeah.
Because like they've been
on that with Bilt. You can't bank on that with them.
No. Because I mean they were the darling child of the credit card space with a card that didn't offer a single sign-up bonus. So, you know, they're the original Bilt card. So, yeah, 100%. All right. Let's see. Boxer's saying that his paperwork is done. Got to go get it. Then get some Cajun food for dinner. Be well, everyone. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy that Cajun food. Great. I do hope this replaces many people's CSP. Maybe that will push Chase for a refresh on the card. We need 3x gas and grocery. That would make it very compelling. If it was a City Strata Premier clone, that could be nice.
Look at that positive spin on the whole situation. Look at that. Maybe it forces Chase to finally do what we want. That's a great way of looking at it. Silver lining.
Well, honestly, okay, so I'm gonna not the exact opposite of a silver lining. Was that a lead lining? If Chase actually has to change their cards, it's because Bilt successfully ruined Hyatt for everybody, and the Chase can't rely on them anymore.
True. Which, yeah, that. Oh my gosh, talk about bad press. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just, I think I asked Spencer this too because. Just the idea, like Hyatt, a couple, I think it was last year, very publicly announced that they were actually selling off their properties and going into an asset light business model, which is what Marriott and Hilton and literally all the other ones do. And it kind of got concerned because if it's no longer just redeeming like corporate owned properties and like you have to pay a franchise owner for that stay, then those point stays get a lot more expensive really quickly.
I feel like. Yeah. That's going to be really interesting to see how that all shakes out.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I don't know if I'll go like the Mr. and Mrs. Smith route again with the Hyatt points. I'm just going to have to play it by ear. Like I'll never have the points that I had when I made the honeymoon redemption. So I'm just going to have to kind of figure it out. At this point, I would go back to that resort we did, but yeah, I'm sure there's more out there. I'm going to have to play it by ear. It's too early to tell. A lot of unknowns.
Yeah. Awesome. So if you are joining us, first of all, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you have not subscribed to Jordan's channel, go ahead and hit that clickable link in the description below. You should be able to go to Jordan's channel. Make sure you hit subscribe to him as well. He's got a lot of really awesome videos. And if you're just looking at this conversation and be like, I don't know what I should be doing with my wallet. Well, I do offer some credit card consultations, which are actually bookable on my website, pointswithphillip.com. There's a link in the description below as well. If you book that, I will be more than happy to go through kind of what your particular monetary goal is, either travel goals or trying to get your life back together goals, and we'll work through it together. But now that that's out of the way, let's get back into it because Philmo actually has a question about Bilt. I am not putting my mortgage in the Bilt program. Should I still be looking at the cards?
I think he should be.
Okay.
Well, for you, Philmo, if you're going that route, it's almost simpler to kind of work out the math. Like you can cut out a lot of what I did in my sheet, work out how much you'd spend on, say, the Palladium for your catch-all spending. If you're earning enough Bilt cash to maximize the point accelerator. It's capped at 5 point accelerators per year, I believe. If you can kind of max that out, then you've got a 3x catch-all card for an entire year.
That's true.
Who knows what happens with Hyatt, but like as of right now, they've got arguably the best transfer partners. Like, why would you not?
How much would you have to spend, and we may not be able to answer this question, in order to earn $1,000 in Bilt cash? Because that would be, I don't even know how to do that math. There's a reason
so you need,
I was a political science major.
I can't run another scenario, Phillip. Come on. I'm like traumatized. Well, you also, again, it's not that simple because you need to factor in, if you want to take point accelerator out of it, it's simple math, but you got to factor in at the very least the welcome offer, then the year two,
right,
$200 Bilt cash. So like I had that all in the math, right? Like,
okay,
kicks you off with 300, so I could do the point accelerator to start the year, and then how much Bilt cash would I earn? You know, it's like I'll run it. Just give me a week or so when I'm through this trauma, and then I'll run that scenario for you. I'll send it over.
You got spreadsheet.
I do. Fatigue, to say the least.
Yeah, fatigue. There you go. Yeah. Oh, Monkey D. Luffy is saying at Kirby, come on, pay for your parents. There you go. Used my Hilton Biz for rent today was $23.98 plus a $71 fee. Orange County life. Yeah, that's delightful. Oof. Let's see. I don't see Stinky Monkey saying I don't see Bilt raising the sub for the Palladium because the potential backlash from early adopters getting the 2.0 on launch day would be huge. Bilt doesn't want to incentivize churners. Yeah, that is a good question. That is a good point.
That has me thinking, how are they going to walk that fine line of if they don't get enough sign-up bonuses or sign-ups in this period that we're in right now, or at launch, call it through next week, how do they incentivize more signups without pissing us off? Like, I don't know what the answer is to that question. I really don't.
You see, what you got to do is come up with a secret link that only people in branch know about, and then blame everyone for using the secret link, and then you get called out in the Wall Street Journal. That's the best way to handle this.
Happened before.
Right? Yeah. Oh man, Don Kim is asking Kirby if he tried Harper Barbecue in Costa Mesa. All right, we should do that credit card meetup at Harper Barbecue next month. So let's get it together. Let's see. Calder's is saying I got denied. I wrote to Dan and have got nothing in return yet. I'm guessing the extended deadline is to cover the process of the bajillion recon applications. Yeah. I can imagine if they're just doing it like, because once it gets on Reddit, like everyone's sending those emails. Like I would hate to be the intern that has to figure out which emails go where.
Yeah. Thought it was just going to be a fun internship. No, here you are.
Right. Yeah. Oh man. QC man, keeping me in check. It's impolite to ask liberal arts majors to do math in your lives. Sorry about that. And also saying Chase will never change. They're profitable, doing it the way they've presently doing things, and they're about to add the Apple Card. Normies love them. Yeah, that's actually really interesting.
And we've seen it before. Chase will still be dominating. We keep saying maybe this is going to finally, the likely scenario. They're going to keep everything as is, minor tweaks, and keep it moving. They're not going to give us gas or grocery.
No.
Why would
they?
I
definitely don't think they're going to give us our Apple rewards in Ultimate Reward points. No. That would be amazing, but very expensive. Chase. The thing about Chase is like they're the only people in this business that actually don't need the credit card business in order to do well as financially as a company. And so, like it adds a lot to the bottom line to be sure. But it's definitely not like their biggest business. So there's that. Mike Newland heard Bilt 2.0 annual fee is waived for active duty military. Can someone confirm? I don't have any actual information on that front, but if I do hear something about that, Mike, I will let you know. Hope maybe somebody in the chat will be able to tell us. But okay, so we are caught up with the chat, and a special shout out to QC Man for the super sticker once again. So that brings me to my next question. Were there any special flights that you were interested in through for this redemption, or did you just kind of like just whatever you could get the most direct?
Most direct, nonstop.
Okay.
So there was a couple things. I mean, there was better options for us to actually connect through JFK.
Okay.
Hour flight, hour and a half layover, and then can fly in from there. Boston, it's just so easy to take advantage of it being a Delta hub. I've personally, before I even knew about credit cards, I was just loyal to Delta. I had the Delta card dating back to 2018. I was putting my money on it, which is a mistake looking back on it, but like I've always been a Delta loyalist, so to speak.
Okay.
So with it being a Delta hub, it was our honeymoon, right? There was better cent per point values if we would connect through JFK, sit there for 2 hours, then hop on, and we could fly first class. And that was a much better cent per point value than just flying out of Boston direct. And there was the economy, actually, for whatever reason, maybe it was because we were booking so far in advance. It was like 2 cents per point, 2.1, 2.2 for economy.
Wow.
We got like 1.2, 1.4 flying first class. And it was just same mentality again. It was like,
right.
It's the honeymoon. I'm not going to have you sit in a middle row seat while we fly for 5 hours down to, it was just that mentality kind of carried through the entire booking process. Like, when else are we going to do this? Let's just fly first class. We're not getting the best value, whatever. Use the points.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like it's if it's a trip that you actually really care about the memories, like even just like domestic first class flight, like it just makes everything a lot less stressful, and it's definitely worth it, especially for, again, like you said, a honeymoon situation. That's incredible.
Yeah, really any trip with the player too. Like I think I'll always kind of have that frame of mind. Like when her and I are going on whatever her birthday, our anniversary, whatever, like I'll probably have a similar mentality. Like, let's just use the points. Let's fly first class. Why not?
Yep.
We could hit another one come off first. I'll always kind of think of it that way if we're traveling together. But like for the September meetup, I actually need to start looking at the travel for that, when I could potentially go. But like that type of trip where I'm going somewhere on my own, or if I'm going somewhere with my buddies, that's maybe when I'll kind of make up for it and do some cent per point hunting, or try and I can stay at a Residence Inn with Marriott. I don't need to stay at the Westin, or definitely not going to stay at that St. Thomas Ritz-Carlton again, but it's probably a bad example. So
I love it. That's amazing. No, I'm the same way with first class, especially domestic. If Jen's flying with me, then pretty much that's actually like a requirement now. Like she's like, I want to do first class now. And fortunately, thanks to referral links, and there's one in the description below, I'm able to make that happen. So if you want me to help me, put my wife in first class seats, I appreciate those clicks. But anyway, when I was flying back to Greenville to meet with Anthony, I decided that I was just going to do economy, and this was after flying first class pretty much all summer, and I was like, it was rough. It was rough going back. So,
it's like a rude awakening. Like, oh, this is what it was like. Oh,
yep.
Yeah. So I had a work trip to Vegas in March, and like it's against company policy to book first class. Like that'll be a 6 hour. Sitting with little Timmy kicking my seat behind me. That'll be rough after the whole experience that we just had down in the Caribbean. So
yeah, but at least you got that lounge access. So there's
true. It's some undercooked eggs for free. Yeah, it's worth it.
Right, exactly. Undercook, overcook, jail.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask. So what credit cards made this happen for you? It sounds like you used quite a bit.
Oh, there was a ton. Let me just see if I think I still have it open here somewhere. I'm an Excel junkie here. So the big ones. The three big dogs were 2 business platinums, one for me, one for my wife, both targeted for $250K offers. And then the Bonvoy Brilliant. Those are the big ones. Like if I probably broke out those points and equate it, that put us pretty close to call it being able to afford the Dorado Beach Ritz-Carlton. Those were the 3 big ones for sure. And then it was just, I started very fast, got the Brilliant, got the Bilt card. What else did I get? I got something else very early on as well. I got the Freedom Unlimited. And then I had her get the Amex Gold. So we started pretty fast. And then once we had the Amex Gold as well, that one was big when I had her apply. I had started very fast in the fall of 2024 with my velocity of applications. Like I need to take a couple months off here before I go for a chase card. So getting kind of her involved was a big step as well, because Amex soft pull, because she was an authorized user on that Delta card that I had dating back to 2018. So didn't even get so like her Chase 524 and all that, we've kept that in a very good spot. So always kind of being able to fall back on the fact that she could kind of go out and chase if there was ever anything elevated was huge. But yeah, the business platinums, the Bonvoy Brilliant, they come with a hefty annual fee there just between those three. But those were the three big ones that really kind of opened the door to like, maybe we can go afford a Ritz-Carlton Reserve and not just, that's kind of what, once I hit my business platinum and the Bonvoy Brilliant pretty quickly, then it was like, all right, all bets are off. Let's get after this and put a good plan together. But yeah, even things like she applied for the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Remember when they did the 100K offer?
Yes.
Last year, we had applied literally 2 days before. Terrible luck. So but other things too. Like I hit up Chase. I hadn't really seen anyone talk about it. I just gave it a shot, hit them up.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone mentioned it in a comment or something.
Yeah.
Sure enough, they matched that. So 100K chase points, like things like that along the way too were huge.
Nice.
We were unlucky in that we missed a elevated sub by 2 days, but then we got lucky because they ended up, reflecting that.
That's amazing.
So there was a lot that had to go right for us to earn this amount of points. And it all kind of just came back to just having a good plan. That's all. I mean, it sounds so cliche and all that. With something like a wedding where you have a specific goal in mind, you need X amount of points. If you've already started to kind of look into what the redemptions are, which I was doing at the time, you just need to have a plan, map out when those expenses are going to hit. With something like a wedding, you can just call up the vendors like, hey, when is my next payment due with you guys? How much? You can like put a calendar together almost. Like, all right, let me apply for this card a week and a half before I have this bill coming up. Then the card literally comes in the mail after 5 business days. I call up the vendor. I've hit the sign up bonus after having the card in my hands for 12 hours. Like you can, that's my advice, I guess, for anyone is like with something, I always equate it back to the wedding, but like put a calendar in place. You hear everyone talk about the roadmap and all that.
Yeah.
The big kind of second layer to that is the dates and the timing and kind of building out a calendar almost.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. I love that idea. Building out a calendar that way everybody knows kind of what's going on, and that can kind of help keep you from just saying, oh, shiny, and ending up with a Walgreens card or something else,
Exactly.
That's honestly, awesome. I love that.
I almost kind of look at applying for the Bilt card like almost as a mistake. We're in a Bilt reward. Our building is in the Bilt Rewards network or program or whatever you want to call it. So they had signage in the lobby and stuff. I was just learning about credit cards. You look up a Bilt video at that time too, the Bilt MasterCard, like buy 5 bananas, you get points on your rent you would never otherwise been able to. Like, this is a friggin' no-brainer. What have I been doing all these years? Well, looking back on it, those 524 slots could have been, maybe deployed somewhere else, especially before the new ink card or the ink rules tightened up and things. I probably could have, that was kind of a mistake in my eyes, actually, even though I ended up loving that card, love my Bilt points. That's a good example of like, don't look at that new shiny toy that at that time everyone was loving the Bilt card, like don't fall for that if you do have a plan kind of running in the background like we did with the honeymoon trip kind of looming.
That's awesome. I love that so much. So you mentioned a couple of Delta cards. Were any other airline cards kind of key to making this happen, or were you just pretty much focusing on hotels?
Pretty much just focus on hotels because I travel enough for work where I had applied for the Delta Gold way back when I think it was a $99 annual fee in 2018. Remember? And then they changed the whole even Sky Miles program, and with that came new cards with higher annual fees. I went through a year or two with that card, upgraded to the Platinum. I would always try and just book Delta flights with work anyway. We travel not all that frequently. Like I'm not Chad flying around the country, but we've got a few conferences that are set in stone every year that we have to travel to. That's the one I'm flying to Vegas for. So I would travel enough where I had a decent amount of Sky Miles. It took an application for the Delta Platinum business card and an upgrade offer I took to just, had enough miles to fly that first class seat that maybe wasn't the best cent per point, but whatever. So those
Right.
were the only airline cards. I had a good piggy bank of Delta Sky Miles. We live right near a Delta hub, saw that they had those point redemptions available, and then that was kind of it. And it was just mainly all focused on the hotel side because I said that Dorado one was crazy. It was, I believe, a 1,000,000 point stay. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was. We did the
man.
5 nights because we were going to do 3, maybe 4, and then I was like, oh, if we do one more, we get the 5th night free. So it was like that's another kind of little trick that they play on you. Like instead of just booking 3 nights, why don't you just book one more, and then we'll give you one more too. So it's like, yeah, give and take for sure. But yeah, I mean, it was all worth it in the end. Someone said it on a live at some point, like, will you kick back in 5 years on your anniversary or the anniversary of the honeymoon trip and think about cents per point? Like, no, what? Like, no shot. It's not even going to come up.
Yep, absolutely. We got Luke's points and miles in the building, and we also have a couple of other questions that I want to make sure we go to. Yeah, here we go. Mike Newland had this really good question. How many cards do you plan to close this year? So now that we've opened up a bunch for sign-up bonuses, what's getting the axe?
That is a very good question. So, well, the only thing I don't have open is the roadmap tool that I just told everyone to build and how important it is. So that's great.
Oh, while you're pulling it up, how can people get this roadmap?
Very good question, Phillip. So if you go to SpencerJohnsonOfficial.com and you go to his Excel tab, there is a tool in there that Spencer and I collaborated on over the last year. We had talked very early on in my credit card career on YouTube or whatever you want to call it. And I had kind of showed him what I had built in Excel. It was nowhere near what the tool is today, but a lot of automation and things kind of make your life easier. So anyway, over the course of, I think it was 9-10 months, we were putting in time on this thing. It's just a great way at a pretty decent value, I would say, because if you do end up purchasing it, you're just grandfathered in. I'm going to constantly release new versions of the file. We're releasing a brand new version next week for the Bilt 2.0 launch with some additional features. So like, nice. It's just a great way to help stay organized. And I don't know if I can share screen, but I've got it all mapped out in here. There's so much that you can do with it that just makes your life easier. And that was kind of our overall goal. But here we go. So in terms of what's getting the axe this year, I had just canceled Delta Platinum Business at the end of, I got it, at the end of 2025. I just canceled this past December. Annual fee had hit. I have the Delta Platinum personal card because I ran the upgrade downgrade on the personal cards, right? So
nice.
I had the gold to start in 2018, upgraded a few years later to the platinum, learned about credit cards, ended up downgrading that down to the blue, upgrade offered to the gold and the platinum actually in the same year.
Wow. And
received both of those upgrade offers. So now I have a platinum personal card, got rid of the Delta Platinum Business, just don't need it. I even struggled to use the Economy Companion Certificate, which is the card's main superpower, but it was just a juicy enough upgrade offer where I kind of felt like I had to take it. And again, with the wedding, we had enough spend to do it. So
right.
Outside of that, I just recently product changed Chase Sapphire Preferred to OG Chase Freedom, which I'm using right now for dining for 5X.
Nice.
Which is great. So just saving, kind of looking to see where it makes sense to save on some annual fees, holding myself, Amex Golds, Amex Green, Amex Platinum, Bonvoy Brilliant. I mean, it's getting up there, especially between the two of us. So only other card I would say we're definitely going to be canceling is probably my wife's business platinum.
Okay.
Losing... It's only use case at this point. The FHR stays are great. It's kind of like a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. Just use them. Yeah. If you pick the right spot at the right date, you can find a decent enough value where you're not paying $400 additional out of pocket.
Right.
Using the credits on it when it makes sense to do so. I'll order something off Dell. Maybe I'll order another colorful light here for the other side of my background over here. And then I'm going to axe the Delta Platinum Business. That's probably the next one that's going to be canceled. Outside of the credits, it's just the 35% rebate's great. And like if you can use those credits, it's a great credit card, especially now with the Chase Sapphire Reserve changes. But that one's really kind of the only one that's scheduled to be canceled. We'll see if I have the Bilt Palladium, we need to put more spend. I may now also product change her Chase Sapphire Preferred to OG Freedom. If then we double up on the 5X earning. So we'll have to see. As of right now, that's the only thing slated to get canceled. I'd say was her business platinum card.
Okay. That's a good one to cancel. I have two currently right now, and one's getting the axe in April when the annual fee posts. And so yeah, I definitely understand that. It's kind of sucks because I did like when the Dell one was every 6 months instead of just $150 for the whole year. Like that's frustrating. But
Right. For us, that was the one that was the easiest to use. And then that's kind of the one that they targeted with kind of devaluing a little bit. So it was a little bit unfortunate, but
yeah,
I did cancel mine as well. I should have mentioned that October last year.
okay.
I
Nice.
just wasn't personal card refresh made a ton of sense for me. I was like, let me just get rid of the business. I don't need this one anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. QC Man saying, even though he's about to be a dad, Phillip does not want to hang out with Adam and his kids and economy. Absolutely not. No. My son's going to be a little bougie. I'm going to try to make sure he doesn't get it too far to his head, but he's going to know what a good time looks like. QC Man Jordan, are you able to use your cards to get points/status for your work trips, or does it have to be done with a corporate card?
It has to be a corporate card.
Oh, bummer.
It's funny because, and I bet you I'm literally the only one in the company, but like they'll send out surveys like, how can we improve things? Like maybe I'm like, let us use personal cards for spend and then reimburse. Like, please. Cause we, for the longest time, it's actually, for whatever reason, maybe we book at the corporate level, partnerships with different hotel chains. We had been staying at Marriott's consistently for multiple conferences per year, even our team meetings. For whatever reason, we would just target Marriott's. Mm-hmm. And then once I got into credit cards, I'm like, oh, can you imagine if I was earning the 21x on those? Oh my goodness. So yeah, unfortunately, no. I'm going to keep trying though.
Yeah.
Keep filling out.
We're the same way. We have to, we have to use our corporate cards, which actually used to be Amex's, but now they made the switch to US Bank, which is just even worse because now I don't get the annual fee credit at least on it. So that's
it's a good point.
Corporates too. Ours is the same way with Marriott. Like it's just unquestioning. Like there can be like an incredible cheap brand new Hilton literally across the street from where you're supposed to go, but you're going to go to that Courtyard Marriott that's a mile and a half away.
There's got to be something like someone knows somebody or something at that level, right? Like
I know, yeah.
So yeah,
corporate's got a corporate.
But,
yeah. Awesome. Let's see. DZ has their Bilt card by mail. That's awesome. Luke's here as well. Let's see here. Here's a good one. Will some other issuer step into the breach and figure out a way to do a proper rent/mortgage card like we hoped Bilt 2.0 would be? Or shall we just give up on the dream? I have some opinions about this, but I'll defer to you first.
Simple answer is I just don't think there's enough pieces of pie out there. Like we saw it with Mesa, right? Like they tried their damnedest, but there's just not enough. Already rumors are out, Bilt not getting enough, people signing up and things. There's not enough out there for Bilt to really have a challenger, I would say, because even if someone comes out with a great credit card or whatever, we're all locked into Bilt 2.0 for the next year. And then it's like, are you going to add a second mortgage card in the first year? No. So I don't think there's enough people out there that know about rewards on rent and mortgage that would want to go out and apply. I mean, even Mesa, we weren't all going out and applying for Mesa,
Right. And I think the intersection of people that know to get points and miles on their rent and mortgage spend and the amount of people that are like willing to break credit cards are very close to the same audience. So I think like if you do have a credit card that's just about getting points on your mortgage, I think it's always going to get broken. Even if it's just by Yuri being an absolute beast when it comes to some of these things.
It's all Yuri's fault.
Yeah. And it's just like, the thing is like, even with the Made card, Calby recently interviewed the CEO of Made. And he was talking about how like he welcomes people to use the Made card and the Bilt card because they'll give you these points on rent and mortgage as well, but it's also tied to spend again. And so if you can spend your mortgage twice over with two different cards, then sure, that works for you. But yeah, like it's just like the way that everyone's kind of situated, it doesn't seem like it's possible to do it well and do it profitably in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting. I got to look into that one a little bit more.
It's I have it. I just recently got it. It sucks.
Oh, nice.
Pretty much you get points, but the only thing you can redeem them for are for statement credits. The only one-to-one is if you want to buy down a mortgage rate or a down payment, but only with Fairway mortgages, which you really I know when we bought our house, like we really just kind of looked at a bunch of different, kind of lenders before we actually ended up going with the one that had the best rate. So I don't know if that will ever actually get anybody to use Fairway mortgages. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But no,
it sounds kind of pretty similar to Bilt 2.0 with the limitations and all that. Like same thing that I was just kind of mentioning. Like it's the same point. Like. Yeah. Oh, that looks like a nice design, at least.
It is. It's plastic, which they say they're doing it so they can maintain profitability. But
Okay.
I don't know how much that's going to go. But yeah, no, it's a weird card. I think honestly, if I wish I didn't get it, but it gives you 2 free AC services per year, which is actually the reason why I got it. So
no annual fee.
No annual fee. Yeah,
no brainer. There you go.
Why not? And they give you a $15,000 credit limit, which is kind of crazy depending on. I opened up 25 credit cards in 2025. So I think my personal credit limit is actually like 320,000 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever ran. That's insane. I'm actually getting close to 200. That's crazy. Well,
nice.
The Bilt one added in. They gave me 22,000.
That's wild.
I had with the 1.0, I had a 5,000 the rent used to pull from my rent level too. Like I'd burn over 50% of my limit on the rent itself. And so I tried messaging them. They gave me, it was like a laughable amount. They gave me like $900 more. This was like going back. Yeah, this is going back probably a few months ago. And they got something figured out, or maybe they're just overly generous now. But yeah, I got 22,000 on the new one going from the old card. I was like, this is great.
That's amazing. That's insane. I love it. All right. Luke is actually talking about a huge travel redemption that he did. I need to start doing a What'd You Book because I really want to hear these. 1.6 million Hilton Honors points for one stay this June. I'm going to make a joke real quick. Luke, was that for like 2 nights at a Hampton Inn? No, I'm sure they're worth more, and I can't wait. Honestly, Luke, I should have you on actually, so you can talk about this because I'd love to learn more about this. But I have been really frustrated with Hilton points lately, so I would love to hear how you've actually been able to use them. Have you actually been able to use Hilton at all?
No, and I don't have any Hilton cards. I don't know about you. Do you have any?
I have 2 currently. I have the no annual fee Hilton Honors and then an Aspire card. And whenever I actually get enough money in my budget to be able to afford another Aspire credit limit or fee, I'm going to upgrade that one just because I like having those free night awards. But I feel like that's the only way to kind of fly with Hilton at this point.
It's a shame because the cards are great. Like you had in the thumbnail, like the Brilliant versus Ritz. I don't prefer Hilton. I don't stay at Hilton's. I don't have their credit cards. I think the Aspire is like the better credit card versus probably either of those. Like pound for pound, when you look at the multipliers and all that, it's just, this is also too, like a little bit on a personal level. Like my wife, she went to school for hospitality. She used to work at some Hilton hotels.
Okay.
It's kind of one of those things like where when you see the back of house, you don't want to eat at that restaurant sort of thing. So there's that element of it too, where even just in our initial travels, like going back a few years before credit cards, paying cash, we would always just have better experiences overall at Marriott's, in our opinion, as well. Once I started staying there all the time for work, it was like, all right, I'll go on all in with Marriott. I might as well. I'm earning some additional points by staying there through work too. So we don't travel enough to have like all this loyalty to multiple different brands and be earning status in multiple brands. So whenever it is possible, and it just so happens that we prefer those experiences too, we try and stay at Marriott.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I like that. We're going to fast forward a little bit because Luke actually answered our question. That 1.6 million was for, I think, a $13,500 stay for 10 people. Wow. Which I know is less than 1 cent per point. Yeah. I think honestly, I think with hotels, I think, and it seemed like you were a little less concerned with cent per point as well. I think if you have the points and you want to make that experience happen, I don't feel like taking a lower cent per point value is a bad thing. What do you think?
Yeah, if you've got the points, do it. Like,
Yeah.
it's your. I'm the first one to admit, like I love acting bougie and acting like, I'm this high net worth. Like being at the
Yeah.
Ritz-Carlton Reserve was great. Like you feel knowing that probably the majority, if not everyone there, was staying with cash. And first of all, how the hell can you afford that? What do you do for work? Are you guys hiring?
Right,
It's
yeah.
like me being there, knowing that we paid, what was it, $900 out of pocket for the
Yep.
taxes and fees, resort
Mhm.
fees or whatever that was. I was like, I'm like the smartest guy in the room. Like I know something that these people don't. Like I got this thing figured out. Like there's an element of that too, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like if you're able
100%. Yeah.
to make it happen on points at some of these crazy, expensive luxury resorts that I'd never be able to afford with cash, you kind of feel like you're making out in a way, even if it's
Mhm.
not the best cent per point value. So like again, it's like feels good that I got maybe double my Marriott Bonvoy point value, but I got less than 2 with Amex MR. So like, is it really? It's just like it's give and take both ways. Like it
Yeah.
depends where you're transferring them and all that. So if you got the points, do it. Stay somewhere really expensive with cash, and then you kind of feel like the man. I'm not gonna lie, it feels great.
Oh yeah.
And you meet some really cool
100%.
people too. Like I was
You
picking
do.
people's brains and stuff. It's really interesting.
Yeah. We so when I took let's see, it wasn't this past year, but it was so 2 years or 2 summers ago. My I like to kind of go all out for my wife's birthday. It's kind of been a thing since our first year, and traditionally it's because I was able to really find good hotel deals like purchasing. And then when I started getting into points and miles, I was like, okay, how can I actually make this happen? And we actually stayed at the Waldorf in Orlando, so it was a staycation for 2 nights. And it was really really incredible experience. And my wife and I we went to eat at the Bull and Bear, which is their like really nice restaurant on property. And the couple that were next to us were just like, it's so nice. It was just like, we didn't really talk since then, but it was just like, yeah, like the people that you meet at those hotels are really pretty interesting sometimes, and have some interesting kind of life experiences that you can learn from as well. So yeah, no, I love that kind of idea of getting that benefit from those hotels too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So Luke did also say, I can't for the life of me understand how folks are getting less than 1 cent per point on Hilton. Factor in the food and beverage credit means, at least for me, the easiest ride in the game. Yeah. So Luke, just to give you kind of where my head's at, if you're still here, basically, so my wife and I, we have to travel down to South Florida to pick up my son in a day or two. And basically, there's a chance that we may have to stay over. So I was looking at, the where we were looking at, and there was a bad Hampton Inn and there was a good Hampton Inn, and that was pretty much our only options. And the good Hampton Inn knew it was, and so for about a $200 stay, it was about 60,000 points if I wanted to use Hilton points, which that's just absolutely terrible. I would actually be far further ahead by cashing out my Amex points with my business platinum card and actually, paying for the stay directly. And so, it's just, I feel like it's a little bit harder to get to that 1 cent per point or something, if that's something you care about. So, that's the only thing that I'm kind of frustrated about with Hilton. But yeah, no, you're right, Luke. We should be looking for those high dollar things sometimes. All right, let's go ahead. Here we go. Mike Newland has an interesting question. He's got a lot of them today. So you said you're going to close a business platinum. What would be a compelling offer that they could offer you as a retention to have you keep it?
It would have to be insane. It's just the annual fees. Like that's
Yeah.
all it is. I could, because I worked it out, right? Like with the refresh, I went through the numbers, which I like to do. Some people don't do the whole effective annual fee thing, and I get that. I
Right.
do it. I ran it, and it's like I'm like breaking even on it, and then I could use the points rebate to like get some additional value. But it's like we just we had the wedding, and then a few months later, we did the honeymoon. Now, Chad says this all the time, but like, even if you're booking with points, these trips are expensive.
Yeah.
Like, we go into these trips with the effort mentality. Like, no, let's get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's get 2 entrees. Like, let's try this. Oh, you wanted to try the pasta too? Let's just get it. Let's do it. I'm gonna have a couple extra drinks. Why not?
Yep.
Don't do that, but like, be careful with that at a property like the Ritz-Carlton Dorado Beach. Like those, the night like we did the Wagyu tasting as opposed to maybe just getting the pasta meal was like, it sounds great in theory, but now, so we're kind of like double whammied right now with, it's great that we booked it all with points, but like we're on the hook for, I got to pay off these credit cards here soon too. So like, keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
We're in that space right now where it's like, all right, wedding's over, honeymoon's over. Now we got to save some money. So let's cut back where it makes sense that's the only thing with the business plan. Like, it'd have to be a stupid offer. It'd probably have to be a credit on the annual fee for me to keep it.
Well, even with,
I should say.
Yeah. Even if I'm assuming if you had access to a business checking account with the business platinum, you can you can cash out your points at 1 cent per point. So even if they gave you, let's say, what would that have to be, like 80,000, 90,000 points offer? Like that would pretty much just be breaking even on that annual fee for you.
Which is great. And that's one, in my opinion, where it would make sense because she does have the business checking account. She's got her own LLC and all that as well. So that's where it would make sense. And that's kind of that like crazy, value offer that I'd only consider, I guess. But other than that, it's going to have to help me chip away at the annual fee. That's kind of my only concern right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Don Kim saying, think certain MLB players like credit card points they were able to add stays with Marriott to their account, even though that team paid for the stay. Saw an interview with Chris Rose. Yeah. A buddy of mine, actually, he was traveling and he didn't have Marriott status, but his wife did. And he was traveling for work and they actually let him use his wife's Marriott account.
Wow.
Which was wild. So it definitely not supposed to, but they did that time. So he was happy about that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Let's see here. Background balloon so early on this stream. Yeah. All right. Actually, you know what? This is an interesting one. Before we get there, Luke saying, yeah, understandable. Hilton honored not for single nights. Yeah, no, you're right. I think it is becoming more kind of like you want to stay there because like it makes sense for that particular property. Like I am trying to make the Waldorf in New York happen just because, in fact, that's actually why I want a second Aspire card. So I can stay there for 2 nights for free. But yeah, that's amazing. Brandon, I'm going to be moving to a bigger city in August to September 27. Depending on city, could be buying a car, a house, or both. Plan a max velocity without going too crazy in 26. What month should I stop this year? This would be a great question for Anthony since he's a realtor, but I don't know kind of where that is because he actually had some decent velocity going into his mortgage application, and that actually became a conversation they had to have about it. So I would say maybe like if it's in August of 27, I'd say at least by September, October, maybe. Or do you think a year is too long?
Because I have no experience. Even when I did move, near Boston, I wasn't into credit cards. Like I'm not exactly sure. And we're only renting, so the whole effect on credit score didn't matter all that much. I feel like I have heard, I don't know if he bought it yet, but like I had heard in videos where like Daniel Braun was going to be buying a house or something. He wanted to almost give it a full year just to be safe.
Yeah, I feel like that would probably be. But again, I have no direct experience. So Brandon, if Anthony Ventures has something different, when you ask him, I would go with what he said because he has a little bit more experience with that. One interesting thing, I love this. Monkey Deluffley is here. Anyone on the One Key Cash card? Do you have the One Key Cash card?
I do not. No, it's loosely on my radar, but no, I don't have it.
It did have a higher sign up bonus. So I want to say sometime this past summer. So I picked one up. I think I got like $400 or $500 in One Key Cash from the sign up bonus. And I just got the no annual fee one. And it is kind of compelling. It's just, it's in the broader credit card market, it's hard to make like, should this exist in your wallet over something else?
Right.
But it's a strong card, right? So for $0 annual fee, you get 3% back on dining, restaurants, and travel, as long as it's through the, I think it's Expedia and Verbo and something else. And it's nice, and it gets, I think, 1.5% back on everything else. And it comes in the form of one key cash, which you can only use on Expedia or Verbo. But my wife and I were actually going to be using a Verbo to stay at a house in the Isle of Skye in Scotland next year. And so we're actually using this a little bit. We're kind of working it into our regular rotation to kind of build up that thing before we actually pull the trigger sometime in April on that property. So, yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah. I mean, what was the welcome offer that you got on it?
I want to say like 400 or something like that.
Okay.
For the card. So yeah, not bad. It wasn't that much to spend on. I think like $1,000 or something. Wells Fargo does have good cell phone protection, so like that's a good benefit of the card. But it's yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it just kind of depends like how you like to redeem. But as I kind of alluded to a little bit earlier, like we do like to stay at Airbnbs, and in this New England area, like we like to go up north and go skiing in the middle of freaking nowhere where like there's kind of only Airbnbs around, or you can just book through Expedia. There's no redemption options up there in some of these places. Right. So like, that's why I say it's loosely on my radar, because this could be the card that we, use the rewards and put towards Verbos. We use Airbnb, but we're not like loyal to the Airbnb brand. You could just shift that to VRBO or Verbo, whatever you want to call it. And it's definitely an option for us, because we have actually booked just through Expedia with cash for a one night overnight when we don't feel like driving 2.5 hours back home from all the way up in northern Maine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the only reason to argue against it is, just that the Robinhood Gold Card exists, and 3% cash back across the board, that you can actually use into a brokerage account in actual, like, is a little bit stronger than one key cash, which you can only use in some places, but it's not a bad card. If anybody decides to use it, like it can even solidly be a one credit card setup for some people, actually. But just not me. I like my points too much.
Same.
All right. Narikin is here. Thanks so much for being here. I have almost 1 million Hilton points. So before Hilton devalues their points again, I booked next year at Conrad Bora Bora 5 nights for 800,000 points. 2 years ago, when I say there, it only cost me 480,000. Wow. That is a substantial increase over the last 2 years.
Book it. Use the points. Do it.
Yeah, send it. Absolutely. I honestly, I have 700,000 Amex points just sitting in there right now. Maybe I should all transfer them to Hilton and go to Bora Bora.
Why not? That's going to go up again. I'm sure it'll be 1 million point stay before you know it.
Yeah. Actually, I'm really kind of obsessed with trying to figure out a way to do an African safari, which is just the most random thing. But I love the idea of like doing like the Ritz there or something. And that could be really cool. I think there's a Conrad actually out there too, but I don't know if I could get Jen to go with me, because most of them are like safari camps, and so they don't have air conditioning.
That's a deal breaker. But I joke and say for her, but like it is for me too. Like,
right. Yeah.
After we went to the Caribbean, and her birthday's in August, like I'm not a heat. I can't do it. I couldn't live in Florida in the summers, so like I can't do it. I don't know.
It gets bad.
Yeah, I just grew up here in the snow. Like I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Narikin saying I'd rather have 3 Aspires with a free night credit. Yeah, 100%. Especially with like, if you're able to figure out how to use those in a way that actually like maximizes that return, like there are definitely ways to use it. Like last year I used mine at the Canopy Hilton in Paris, which is actually, it has you walk out the door and you can actually see the Eiffel Tower like just down the street, like it's across the river. But it's great. It's a great property. Loved it. And we saved like, I think like $350 for that particular free night certificate. Nice. But there's definitely ways to, do it. Like if I successfully book it for the Waldorf in New York, for example, that's an easy $1,500 to $2,000 in savings just with one certificate. So, it's hard to argue against it. All right, so just we're catching up to the conversation. I promised our viewers a SmackDown drag out fight, and I guess it's time to go ahead and do it. You believe that you know what the best premium Marriott travel card is. Could you enlighten me a little bit?
I strongly believe that the Bonvoy Brilliant is a better credit card than the Ritz-Carlton. Let me defend myself for a second, and then I'll pass it to you. I view the two, the 80, obviously a lower annual fee on the Ritz-Carlton.
Right.
If you're someone that likes, or your main airport lounge is a Chase Sapphire lounge, get the Ritz-Carlton. Going to be a better card for you.
Yeah.
There may even be a world where both make sense to have, that's your lounge card. And then, I view the two, right. And it's not apples to apples because they have different annual fees. $85K free night award on both. Wash between the two. A somewhat simpler credit with the $300 travel credit, but they make you call and jump through that hoop. And people that kind of complain about that, honestly, and I'm sort of using that as a loose knock on the card, but like it's not that hard. Just call them up. And honestly, the travel credit even makes it more flexible because there is a human element to it. So some people that like complain about that and knock the card, I just do it jokingly. With the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant, people complain the monthly dining credit, like you're spending. Is anyone out there really struggling to just, I do carry it just in my everyday wallet. I have it with me all the time. When I'm at work, when I stop at Chipotle, the bill is $26.87. Like that's the card I'll pull out. I use it once. I don't have to use it multiple times at multiple coffee shops. I get that it's a monthly credit. I get that. And it's annoying for some people. If you don't like monthly credits, this is not, credit cards isn't for you because that's where everyone's moving.
Right.
It's the Platinum Elite status that sets it apart.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I would say you like Marriott's if you're thinking about either of these cards or talking about either of these cards.
Right.
Do you need Sapphire Lounge access? Yes. Ritz-Carlton, it's probably just going to be the way to go for you. If not, and especially for me, staying at Marriott's primarily through work as well. Like we stayed in Orlando. I got some crazy upgrade. Like I had my work buddies in my room on the last night. Like we had a couple beers. We had the balcony with the living room. And like I've read people are saying that they don't get upgraded ever unless you go international. I don't get upgraded.
Right.
I haven't had that issue. So maybe I'm kind of looking through rose-colored glasses, but the Platinum Elite status
do you normally stay? Is it like during the week or on the
my
weekends?
travel experiences, and that's why I say the Bonvoy Brilliant. It truly has.
Nice. Do you normally stay during the week or is it on the weekends when you get
typically
upgraded?
During the week for those work conferences, but every once in a while as well, we'll do like an incentive trip, and someone will win an incentive trip, and we'll go somewhere, and those will typically be through the weekends, like a long weekend type trip. That's kind of how the company structures it, like a Thursday through a Monday, Thursday through Sunday. So just depends. But like for the true conferences and like the true work travel that I do, it's typically just during the week.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's still good though, right? Like getting that upgrade is nice. And I love that it's actually reliable for that. That's amazing. And, honestly, like the Brilliant Dining credit, it's easy to use because it's any restaurant, right? I think it's just as long as it codes as a restaurant, it covers.
Correct.
Right.
And I was just, the only thing I failed to mention, if this turns into a Resi credit, then it's so annoying. And I hate the credit now. You know what I mean? The fact that it's just a general dining credit makes it a lot easier to stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Luke.
Yeah. Luke's being bougie over here. Why just go to a Starbucks a couple times a month and you're set? Yeah, exactly. There you go. It's funny. Mike Newland got me on the matcha lattes there, and so they're actually pretty good.
Sucker gin.
Yeah, exactly. My wife makes fun of me now. So, of her, she gets an iced chai and I got the matcha, and I'm the one that's, has the more girly drink, I think. So,
Hey, I'm not ashamed to admit I love that freaking pink refresher thing. It's so good.
Oh yeah, that is pretty good.
I'm not ashamed.
Yeah. I mean, like, my wife would like the pink refresher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Luke's saying he doesn't even go to Starbucks; it's just convenient for vacations. Yeah, a lot of these resorts, like they'll have like the breakfast cafe thing is actually like a co-branded Starbucks that sometimes those gift cards work for. So that's actually a really solid point, Luke. Great job. Yeah, you just found another hotel credit.
I have the gold. I load the Dunkin' app. Like if I go to Dunkin' all the time, I can start loading that into the Dunkin' app. There's ways that make it
Yep.
even easier than it already is to use, in my opinion. But for me, I literally carry it with me. Stop somewhere, grab a couple sandwiches with one of my buddies. Like that's the card I'll pull out once a month. Again, if it was a
Yeah.
Resi credit, this is a different conversation. Honestly, it sounds like a little minor change, but that would sort of change the entire thought
Right.
process behind that card over the Ritz.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, 100%. I get that. So the Brilliant card, it's 650. The $300 dining credit. So that means that there's $350 left out there. That's non, adjusted for the, the adjusted annual fee. So basically in my mind, it seems like, okay, you're buying that 85,000 point free night award plus platinum status for that 350. Clearly you think it works for you. And that makes sense, right?
Yeah. With the benefits that I've gotten since holding the card, and also keep in mind you get priority pass as well. So I'm typically flying Delta, like I said. So this is kind of going back to what we talked about before. It all comes full circle, right? Like I'm loyal to Delta. I have the MX Platinum. I'm typically going into Sky Miles lounges. For whatever reason, if I fly American out of Boston, I'll use the one calendar year pass that you get into the Chase Lounge with a priority pass membership on that one day that I occasionally find myself there. So it truly does just all totally depend. Yes, I know that I'm essentially paying for Platinum Elite status. I think of it in my mind, I wipe dining credit, that's $300 off the annual fee, easy. 85K free night award, I haven't redeemed it yet. We'll see, maybe it's a huge pain point and I really struggle to find it, and maybe I hate it after this year and I end up trying to use it. Seems like a pretty easy way in theory to offset the additional, even just 350, call it. I feel like I could squeak a lot more value out of it even than that. Okay, so annual fees washed. Then I'm just getting upgraded on work trips whenever we travel. As long as it's, I'm basically paying net zero for upgrades at my favorite hotel chain.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that. Okay. Great. Okay. So now it's not nice, and you're not awesome, and you're wrong. So
let's hear it. Let's have it.
So we got the Ritz-Carlton credit card over here, which it's fun because a lot of people have this card, and it looks right. I don't put that much spend on this card in a given year, but I keep it around for a couple of things, right? So that lounge access is going to be one of the top things. So first of all, my wife and I like the Sapphire lounges, particularly the one in Philadelphia is the only one I've ever been to, but so they have order your own food, right? They have an incredible bar. They have really cool experiences. The shower suites are incredible, and they're just awesome lounges, right? So having unlimited access to those is nice. But the free authorized user thing is what's amazing. Like my in-laws, they have lounge access. My wife has free lounge access. Like I have so many people that have given free lounge access on this card, and it costs me nothing, right? Because it's no annual fee for the authorized users, which is solid. Now, they did recently kind of limit how many guests each authorized user can actually bring, but we'll just add more authorized users and call it a day. But another thing that I like about it is the Chase Priority Pass gives you more guests when you have Priority Pass people on. So, basically like when my wife, like when she travels and she's going to Priority Pass Lounge, like I have her set the app to the Chase one just because that one's a little bit better. And it also frees me up because whenever I do downgrade or close a platinum card, it doesn't impact her priority pass access. So she still can go to the lounge if she's traveling for work or something. And yeah, she can't do the Sky Clubs or the Centurion lounges until, we get another upgrade offer. But, it's a great way to kind of like make sure that her experience is as good as possible. With the basically the travel credit, there's a lot of people, and I kind of agree with Luke when he said that, a lot of people kind of tell people to do stuff that's maybe could be considered shady, right? I've used it both years on taxes and fees for reward redemptions. So I used it last year with a business class redemption with Virgin Atlantic that covered $300 of it, and then I used it recently for to cover some of the taxes and fees for my British Airways flight that I booked through Cathay Pacific. And so, basically. I've used it for everything that's supposed to be used. It's supposed to be used for airlines incidentals, but with that said, have a lot of people experience that it's pretty wide open. Yes, but you do have to call. But every single time I've called, it's been less than 5 minutes, and the credits hit the next day. So like, is it a little more frustrating? Yeah, but there is some wiggle room, which is nice. So yeah, there's that. Okay. And then, of course, the free night certificate. So basically, I will look at it as I'm buying Marriott Gold status, which I already have with the Platinum card, and the free night award for $150. So as long as I get $150 out of that, I'm fine. And so that's one of the reasons why, like, at this current math, it's hard to justify about getting, not getting the Ritz-Carlton card. But then you get into the protections and stuff like the roadside assistance service, which is really insane. You get 4 free trips a year, a calendar year. And then, just the primary CDW that you don't have to pay extra for, things like that. It's a nice travel card. I think someone actually said it. Let's see here. Asking, basically they said that it was a good, here, the Ritz is, seems like a better travel card, Brilliant, a better Marriott card. I like that, because if you're actually staying at Marriott's and you want those nice experiences, then Gold status is not going to give it to you, right? Gold status is just going to get you late checkout to 2:00, maybe, early check-in, maybe, and premium internet, although I haven't seen it yet. So,
Fair point.
So, I like it for our particular use case, but, with that said, I do have on my roadmap some time to get the Brilliant. It may not be this year, but it may be next year. Just because it is a solid card.
And I'm so glad you said that, because that's exactly where I was going to pivot. I have on my long-term roadmap the Ritz-Carlton card, because there is a world where both make sense.
Right.
If you don't need the Chase Sapphire Lounge access, and like I again, my experience, Platinum Elite status has been worth it. Not for everybody. Some people get unlucky. Maybe I've just gotten lucky. Who knows? But there's a world too where we just started looking at it. So we live near Boston, and we are from Western New York, near Rochester, New York. It's about a 6-hour drive on the Mass Pike the whole way. The most boring drive ever. You drive all the way up across Mass through Albany. You're literally on one road the entire time.
Yep.
This Thanksgiving and Christmas, I looked at her and I was like, I'm in the credit card game now. Like, can we just fly, for the love of, like, oh my gosh, this 6-hour drive turned into 8.5 hours. Like, this traffic coming back is just like. So anyway, after that, then we started looking at flights, right? So I'm going on a trip with my buddies here in a few weeks. She's going to fly back and go see her mom. We will be in the American Airlines terminal a little bit more frequently now. Whenever we can, basically now, I would like to fly back instead of making that 6, sometimes 8-hour drive that it can turn into, and losing a whole day of work when I could, be answering emails and doing things like, I love her, but she gets the passenger princess and answer emails, get whatever, get whatever she needs to get done in the car ride. And I told her this, I'm genuinely jealous that you get to just work all day and like not have it truly affect your day the way that it stresses me out, getting cut off by these Boston drivers. They're insane. Like, there is a world where now we're going to be in the American terminal more. Maybe we'll want access to that Chase Sapphire Lounge more. So that's where, like, I don't plan on canceling the Brilliant unless that dining credit turns into a Resi credit and the free night award drops to a $50K. Like, I probably won't be canceling the Brilliant, but there's a world where I should probably target to look at adding the Ritz-Carlton as soon as possible, knowing that we will be in that terminal now more. It's right now doesn't make sense. I'm all in on the Brilliant. Like, that's my card. I've gotten the benefits from it. I don't need the lounge access. Or the roadside assistance. I get that through work, and she does as well. So like, it's so dependent, and but I'm so glad you said that, because I was just going to take it there as well. Like, now I say all that to say that I do want the Ritz-Carlton as well. Like, I actually want both of them. So like, there's a world where both actually do make sense in the same setup.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely think there's room for both. And, it's great too, because like now that it's been 2 months since I've had, or 2 years, sorry, since I got my Bonvoy Boundless sign up bonus. And so like I'm back at like a free agent, so I can get a sign up bonus with a Marriott card again. And if I was under 524, I would consider getting another Boundless and then just trying to get two Ritzes down the road. But getting the Marriott business card, I'm waiting to see if it goes to 5 free nights sometime this year. Last time it went to 5 free nights, it was after the Boundless did. So I'm hoping that sometime maybe the summer or the spring that happens. So we'll see. But yeah, there's that. And then, no matter what happens, like after at that point, if I do get the Marriott business, then the Brilliant can come into play. I just have to downgrade the Ritz for 30 days and then apply for that, and I should be able to get it.
Speaking of, because you're a little bit more plugged into kind of the news and the happenings than I am, any word on the Brilliant business? Whatever happened with that? That rumor like just fizzled out, didn't it?
It really did, yeah. And I think somebody asked about it actually, because so that was part of a rumor, kind of like I think it was a survey or something where they were kind of like teasing it, and it looked really good. Because you could get the Brilliant business and the Brilliant personal, and both of those higher like those elite night credits kind of combined, and it could get you a pretty good status. Like if you wanted to get even like what's higher than the platinum, titanium, is that right?
I think titanium's the next one. Yeah.
And so you have a really solid shot at getting that, which could be really nice. I don't know what more it gets you other than just being amazing, but
Right.
I'm sure it's worth it. But a lot of people were excited about that.
From everything I've read, and again, I'm not some world traveler that knows and has experienced all the different elite statuses, but like platinum kind of seems like the sweet spot where even domestically you'll get upgraded, and then internationally you get treated very well. Like even Ritz Dorado Beach, it was like every turn like thanking me for my platinum elite status and things.
That's
and
amazing.
We didn't get any complimentary upgrade list or anything. They don't do that at Ritz-Carlton Reserves, or at least that property doesn't participate. But even still, like getting thanked and stuff like that, it's worth it for the perks that I've gotten so far. And if again, maybe it's luck, who knows, but maybe I start to get unlucky and they turn it into a $25 per month Resi credit, and then maybe I'll hate the Brilliant. Like anything can change.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if I didn't have 3 platinum cards with FHR credits, I would be using, I would be staying at the Caledonian in Edinburgh because of the Hilton Diamond status. Like the Hilton Diamond status overseas, it gets you a lot of stuff. You get really taken care of, and they actually have lounges at hotels over there. And so like the lounge at the Conrad Hotel is really great, because if you fly into London, chances are you're flying overnight, right? And you're getting there in the morning. And a lot of times, like they don't have a room for you, but they will give you access to the lounge, and so you can take a shower, get changed in the lounge, and then actually just start your day, which is amazing. And so just hitting up that is really great. And then like they give you the free continental breakfast, but they also give you the free hot breakfast if you're diamond too. Which means like at the Conrad that we stayed at in London, like that meant that you could order whatever you wanted on the menu and it was completely free. Like you just pop in there and get a full tea service completely free. Yeah. Like you want
so
omelets. Cool. Yeah. It was baller status. So like I love Hilton Diamond status. And that's really the only thing I haven't experienced with, because I don't really have anything higher than gold with Marriott, but I can imagine that overseas they really take care of you there.
Yeah, and even domestically, like I've only stayed in a couple hotels with the Marriott Lounge access that I get, and it was huge. Like one of them was a work trip, and like, how do I say this without some of these work conferences? Like I'm in sales, so we do a lot of entertaining with our customers and things, and we have fun, and right, like it's at these conferences too. Like one of them, it's so nice to go in there and get that food as opposed to the just tubs of, again, the soggy eggs and the room temperature coffee and things like that. It's just another one of those like little added benefit that you get with the Brilliant and that elite status. So
and like having access to a lounge makes the hotel just feel so much less like they're just sucking money out of you. Like when we were at the hotel, like my wife was like, oh, like I'm thirsty, like I want a Coke or something, and some cookies or something. So I was like, oh, I'll just pop down to the lounge and got a bottle of
Yep.
Coke and some cookies. And it's just like, that's, if you didn't have that diamond status, like that would be like a DoorDash order, or like walking around London, kind of trying to figure that out, and not having to do that was huge.
100%.
Yeah. All right, so we both emerged from the arena bloody and sore, and acknowledging that everyone else is right. So that's good. Oh, that is a nice card, though. I did not realize it looked that good. That may have to be my next card.
It's thick too. This one's thick.
Yeah, nice. I gotta say, the thickest card that I have is the carrot card, actually. So they put your logo on there. But
what's your experience been with that one so far?
It kind of sucks.
That's what Spencer says.
Yeah, it's they finally got it tapped like last week, actually.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. So it's weird. Like they tell you that you have a bunch of higher categories, but you have to text your concierge in order to activate them, and then it takes place the next month. So they basically told me you're not going to earn any rewards by spending on a card this month. And I was like, well, then I'm not going to put a spin on the card this month. And what's weird too is, so they call it a charge card. It's an actual charge card. They don't actually give you statements. Just whatever your current balance is at the end of the month, they automatically run to your account for.
That is really weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and also a card that's discouraging spend on their card, isn't that?
It's
maybe
it's
one of a kind.
Yeah. Yes. And then what's the other thing? The other strike. Oh yeah, it's a business card that reports to your personal credit.
Ooh, where did they pull from?
They haven't pulled yet. It's just Spencer was just like, yeah, they pulled me. So I forgot what he said. I don't know if he did actually tell me, but
no, because I was had to submit his YouTube analytics or something to get it, and wasn't it? Yeah, it's a really weird application process.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be based off of your your following, but also like you had to like, because our income comes from a bunch of different places. Like I have, one income from the school go to a different account, and then like my YouTube goes to a different account. So I actually, in order to actually show them my account, because they don't just trust you, right? Which is fair. You have to sync all of the accounts that your income comes from. So I had to count like sync like 7 different accounts in order to actually show them like I make how much I told you I make.
And was it worth doing all that work?
I mean, it looks pretty, so yeah.
Yeah. Thickest card you got, at least you can say that.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. But anyway, so we have about a couple minutes left. If anybody does have any other questions or comments that they want us to hit, please let me know. We do have to say thank you to a couple of other people. Rewards Master is here, also a friend of sorts of the channel. And, he's really big on city points. And I got to say, so let's see. I'm pulling out my my list here. I actually ended up using my City Strata Premier a lot more because I talked to the Rewards Master, and I actually used it on my our anniversary dinner. We went to Fleming's, and I put the whole thing on that card because 3x AA miles is something else. All right, so we got DWH702 became a YouTube member. Thanks so much. Appreciate you. Let's see. The Ratator or Ratatar is titanium is a good status here domestically. International platinum status is fine. Titanium does give you United silver status. Oh, I did not know that. That's nice.
It's a little added benefit there. But yeah, it's like, does that mean titanium's worth chasing?
That's fair.
It's like yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, Memphis Mike has a amazing redemption as well. So our basically Hello Gents just booked Athens, Greece, staying at the Athenaeum Intercontinental by HG thanks to Chase. Wow. So was this part of the edit collection? I wonder.
I would assume.
Yeah, for it to be thanks to Chase. Although the point boost makes a lot of sense, I will say.
Agreed.
Being able to get 2x points if you're up to 2x could be really good. But yeah, I don't know. That I did a video where I was thinking about the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and I'm thinking about adding it this year. There's a lot of positives to it, but I don't know.
I'd rather just I keep applying for cards. So like I keep pushing out when I can get the boundless, which I don't need to wait another, like I'm on a 2-year clock still to get the boundless, but like I'd rather just wait for the Ritz.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Can I even get a welcome offer? Because I've had the Chase Sapphire Preferred on the reserve. It's so unclear to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Maybe not.
Because they're like Amex now. Like there's nothing set in stone. Maybe you can, but then you get the hard inquiry. But like, I'm not that overly concerned about hard inquiries at this point. But
right, I get that.
You know, maybe there's a product change that happens. I don't know. I'd rather just wait. It's just,
yeah.
I have a lot to say about the Sapphire Reserve. Maybe that's for another live.
Yeah, sure. Tune in next week, folks.
We go back to battle next week.
Right. Same bat time, same bat channel. That's awesome. We also skipped another Luke point. I just stayed at a Hilton overseas, Hotel Montero Curio. I even booked with the HC Hilton concierge. No upgrade. I checked; they had all their suites available. Yeah, Luke has the worst experience with upgrades, which is just wild to me. But maybe it is the three people thing, because when I booked our stay in Edinburgh, we had to say there's 3 people in a room, and that severely limited our options. So maybe that had something to do with it. I wonder. And he's diamond. Yeah, that's frustrating. All right, and then talking about the care card. All right, well, I guess that'll just about do us. We have hit. Hotel collection. He said. Let's see. And I was solo. Wow. Okay. I don't know. I got nothing. Hilton, you must be on a list somewhere.
I got you blacklisted, Luke.
I am sorry to hear that, man. That's frustrating though, because that's the thing. I think like I really stressed over this when I stayed at Conrad London my first year. So the first time we stayed there last December, and not this past December, but the one before that. And because initially I booked the cheapest room they had. And this was before I had the Platinum card. This was before I had the Aspire card. Is actually why I got the Aspire card, because I wanted to make sure we had a decent room and a decent hotel experience. And I wasn't sure what the best way to make that happen was, right? Now, the best way to make that happen is just to book the room you'd rather have. But, that was a lot more expensive, right? So like I actually kind of tried doing it both ways. I booked it through the hotel collection, but then I also held Hilton Diamond status by the time I had that. And we still didn't get an upgrade there, but at least we had access to the lounge and stuff, which was nice. So, it's playing the upgrade is hard, especially on these trips where like it matters which room, right? So if you're trying to get an upgrade to an ocean view room or something, just pay for the room you want, if it's possible. Like my wife and I, we stayed at the Conrad in Fort Lauderdale, much actually to because Luke recommended it so highly, and it was a great hotel. We paid for the junior suite with a partial ocean view, and they initially upgraded us to, and they forced the upgrade actually to a 1-bedroom suite with a street view. So it was not an ocean view at all. It was on the back of the hotel, and I was like, I don't view this as an upgrade. Please cancel it. And then they finally did give me an upgrade to a partial ocean view for 1 bedroom, which was nice. But still, it's kind of weird how all that stuff works. But anyway, we also got another member as well, Nemo Los Angeles. But anyway, thanks so much for being here, everyone. We had 3 new members, and QC Man gave us $2. That was amazing. And thanks again to you, Jordan, for being here, man. Like, this was a great conversation, and I know that 2 hours on a weekend is really valuable, so I appreciate you spending it with us here. This has just been an incredible conversation, and thanks so much. Can you tell everybody how best to support you right now?
Yeah, that'd be again, thank you so much for having me on. Like I said, any chance I get to come on anyone else's live, it's been a ton of fun for me just to, this is really kind of the first time that you and I have even gotten to sit down and talk. And
that's true.
Quite a few times in the conversation, I forgot we were even live. So it felt very natural, and really appreciate the opportunity. Definitely want you to come on my lives. I don't know how often I'll be able to do them, but I'm really kind of thinking about that. As well as some of the other stuff that we were talking about right before we actually hit the live here. But if you guys want to check out my channel at The Jordan Rules for Credits here on YouTube, I also have a website, the jordanrulesforcredit.com, where actually just the last day or so I've made a ton of updates, and I'm trying to now kind of house a lot of my stuff on there with, referral links. It's got my merch on there, some ways to get in touch with me. I'm trying to kind of make sure that everything that I want on the website is there. So if you guys are looking for other ways to support outside of just, subscribing and watching my videos, you can check out that website as well. But no, thank you again, Phillip. I really do appreciate it. And this has been a ton of fun talking to you. So
yeah, this has been great. And of course, I never, ever, ever want to end a live without saying thank you to everybody in the audience. You guys are the reason why this is even worth doing, honestly. Like, because, when we get to talk, we're just a bunch of nerds in a room, right? But when we get to hear from your perspectives and kind of get your questions and your insights and everything, like, it just makes the conversation so much more worth having. And so thank you so much for, allowing me to be a member of the community. Thank you for allowing Jordan to be a member of the community. Like, everybody has just been really incredible so far. And so thank you for coming out. Really appreciate it. We're going to see you again next weekend. Hopefully I'll have a co-host as well. So, we'll see. Maybe it'll be, right here, but, we'll see if we can still make it happen. But thanks so much for everybody here. We're going to go ahead and shut it down, but I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday.